Good evening, everyone. My name is Elizabeth, the Education Coordinator for Marlene's Market and Deli. Tonight's special guest that we have with us is Max Willis. He is the Chief Innovation and Science Officer for Solaray. Thank you so much, Max, for joining us.
It's my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Anytime. So you have a really wonderful topic that you are sharing with us.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. We're going to get into a new technology on multivitamins. Yeah.
How exciting. Well, if there's any questions, feel free to enter in the chat box or in the comments on Facebook Live here. But Max, you're welcome to take the live stream floor.
Wonderful. I'm going to share my screen. Just confirm if you can see this okay.
Looks great.
Perfect. Okay. My PowerPoint has had some glitches to it with automatic advancing. So hopefully it doesn't happen during this presentation. If it does, I apologize. And I just have to go back a slide or two if it gets a little jumpy on me. But it's a pleasure to be here with you. Thank you all for joining me this evening. I know there's many things you could do with your time. We're here to share with you some fun new innovation that hopefully will help you live brighter and healthier as you take your daily multivitamin. And, you know, our big message here, I've been formulating products in this company for over 21 years, and I always love discovering new technologies. I want to know how products work and how they can work better for our customers. They certainly spend a lot of money and they put a lot of trust in products, and it's our job as innovators to look at technologies that give us more. And so, as people used to say, you are what you eat. Tonight, we're going to say you are what you absorb, okay? What we absorb. Because not everything we put in our mouth becomes part of us, right? It might go right out of the body. And so absorb more is the goal with this new line. So we have a legal disclaimer that the information in this webinar is for educational purposes and training only. The products are not intended to diagnose, mitigate, treat, or cure, prevent any disease, damage, or dysfunction. So a quick overview of Solaray. Solaray has been around for 50 years. It was born here in Utah and based in Salt Lake City at the base of the Wasatch Mountains, where we have beautiful mountains that store all the water that if Seattle doesn't get it, it comes to us and we get the rest of it. And we store that water and we make wonderful liquid and dry supplements with it. And it's just life-giving. But Solaray stands for selection. We have over 900 SKUs in so many different categories, from vitamins, minerals, herbs, specialty products like enzymes and CoQ10, fish oils, all of that in this brand. It's made and tested by us in Utah. Every batch we test every time. That's part of lab verified. That's what the L stands for in Solaray, lab verified. It's an award-winning brand. We don't put in for awards, but we get selected for awards thanks to the consumers and the retailers that like what they see. We're reputable. For 50 years, we've been in this industry, launching new products, inventing things. We were the company that 30 years ago kind of brought to light the need for cranberry extract for urinary tract health. We've innovated a lot of things over the 50 years, and this is something tonight we're going to talk about that is innovative. We're very loyal. We value our relationship with Marlene's and awesome health food stores all around the country that know how to educate and sell natural value-added products. And then your planet and your people, our planet matters. We use post-consumer recycled plastics to make our bottles. We are planting 1 million trees this year in countries where we source raw materials, so we like to give back. We support awesome organizations like EarthSave and Vitamin Angels that do important things for the planet and for malnutrition around the world. You know, even in America, where most of us are doing pretty well. A lot of people suffer with malnutrition, whether they're not eating the right foods or not getting enough nutrients from the foods they eat. 92% of Americans suffer from at least one nutritional deficiency, at least one. The common one is vitamin D for those of us that live at a certain elevation or atmosphere. Other people suffer with some magnesium deficiencies or iron deficiencies. And a lot of these things can be addressed just by taking a multivitamin every day. And so Solaray, as I said, we've been in this field for 50 years. We were launched as an herbal brand. So we have a lot of herbs from astragalus to Z. What's a Z herb? Help me out, folks. Zamka, umkaloabo. We even had that at one point. But we have vitamins and minerals, and we do well with the vitamins and minerals. Vitamin C was a leading product for us, especially that one you see in the middle, liposomal C, has done very well. And the whole story behind fat-soluble, water-soluble vitamins really started with, the turn of the century when vitamins were discovered. And since then, we were one of the early brands that launched some of the early multivitamins. Multivitamins are the #1 purchased category in health food stores. 74% of you dedicated supplementers take a multivitamin daily. It's a very competitive field. I'll bet everyone that's on this call has their favorite multivitamin in their pantry already. What we did is we did a big poll to consumers and we asked them, what is the most important thing for you when you buy a supplement? Is it third-party logos? Is it some quality statement? Is that it's all natural? What is it that you're looking for? And people overwhelmingly said efficacy. We want to know that that product is going to give us a benefit. That is the #1 determinant for purchase intent of a supplement by you holistic shoppers. So efficacy is the most important thing. And in the 21 years, I've launched many multivitamins. Here is a line of the once dailies that we offer. The once daily prenatal, woman, 50 plus adult, the high energy, the active man. I had some other multivitamins I've launched in the past, but just recently, we've learned more about this liposomal technology for nutrition. And so we're going to talk about what liposomes are. But first of all, something that people call in and ask about with multivitamins is, am I absorbing my vitamins? I take my multivitamin and I go to the bathroom and bright yellow pee comes out. Am I losing all my vitamins? Sometimes they ask, why do some of the vitamins make my tummy hurt a little bit or cause me to be a little nauseous? Especially the pregnant mamas out there will ask that question. Can you improve the odor? I open the lid and I get this waft of vitamins in my face. Can you make that not so nasty? And then when do I take my multivitamin? Can I take it with food or is it better to take it without food? So these are the common questions, and all of these we've addressed with this new launch. So before we get into it, let's talk about absorption, because this is the most important aspect of liposomes, in my opinion. The Annals of Internal Medicine in 2004, so it's been a few years, they did a study comparing absorption of vitamin C. They compared vitamin C from food versus vitamin C from your regular supplements to vitamin C that are in a liposome, and then finally vitamin C that are administered through an IV. And the IV administered vitamin C was 70 times more absorbed than vitamin C from food. And so a lot of people have been doing IV vitamin doses, especially when they're really deficient in B12 or certain vitamins. They'll get the needle in the arm. Well, that's not very practical for most of us. I hate needles personally. So the next best thing, according to this study, was liposome. And it was 9 times more absorbed than vitamin C from food. So let's talk about what a liposome is. The word liposome comes from the Greek root lipos and zoma. And so lipos means fat and zoma means body. So it's a body of fat. And what does it do? It can take an active carrier, a nutrient, and take it into the body in a unique way. And in the 1960s, drug companies just developed liposomes for targeted drug or medicinal delivery. You know, our stomach acids are killing fields. It's full of hydrochloric acid and bile and all of these enzymes. And sometimes those water-soluble vitamins just have a hard time making it through the digestive rigors. And so a liposome really protects those active nutrients. And so we consider it an important vehicle for vitamins now, not just for drugs as they were developed in the 1960s. So they're made up of phospholipid heads, phospholipid tails. The tails are fat soluble and they connect together and they form this little ring. And in the middle is an aqueous core. So there's water in the middle and then there's water on the outside of the liposome, right? We're 60 to 70% water, depending on how hydrated we are at any given time. So we're surrounded with water. And in the water-soluble core, you can put water-soluble vitamins in the liposome. So like vitamin C and vitamin B, you can put minerals in there. You can put herbs and herbal extracts. Liposomes have been popular in the practitioner channel for glutathione that's hard to absorb, or CBD and other cannabinoids. And then the fat-soluble portion where the tails connect, you can put fat-soluble nutrients like your vitamin E, your D, your K, your A. So in this vehicle now, you can store and deliver vitamins and nutrients in a way that wasn't possible before. Before it was a very expensive process, and now we've figured out how to do it much more economically, so we can do it with micronutrients. This is a microscopic view of liposomes. This is of our very liposomal multivitamin. On the top left, you can see all the little spheres. It looks like you're in outer space looking at a galaxy. And then in the middle is one of those dissected with a TEM. It's an electron microscope that goes really small, and you can slice one open and pull it apart and look at the core. So there's that water core that's full of nutrients, and you can see all the fats in the donut. And so that's the microscopic view. This was taken here at the University of Utah just a few months ago. Now, liposomes are very similar to human cells. They are both surrounded by phospholipid bilayers. And you can see there the image of the human cell in red, and you can see that bilayer with the phospholipid heads, those phosphate heads, and those fat-soluble tails. So that's what a phospholipid is. It's made up of one head, two tails, they connect, and they protect things inside. If our human cells didn't have that protective barrier, we would be infiltrated and our immune system would be compromised. Our whole epithelial lining is made up of phospholipids. Phosphatidylcholine is the main phospholipid in our cell membranes. So this is what makes up our cells. Phosphatidylcholine makes up 90% of the phospholipid mucus layer where absorption takes place in the small intestine. We know phosphatidylserine, that one exists in the human brain, and we need phosphatidylserine for gray matter and for functionality of human brain cells. And our liposomes are made from non-GMO sunflowers. That's where the fats come from. In the older days, they came from soy lecithin, but today we get them from sunflowers. So I personally prefer the sunflower. Now, when we manufacture the liposomes, they're first plump and full of water like grapes. Grapes contain 70 to 80% water, just like a liposome. But you can dehydrate a grape and make it through a process called exosmosis. You can pull the water out of a grape and make it into a raisin. And raisins have their advantages, right? When we go camping, or if we were going to have something in our 72-hour food supply kit, would you store grapes or raisins, right? You would store grapes or raisins. You would store raisins because they're stable and they last forever because you remove the water activity, and they're not going to collect bacteria or spoil. And so when liposomes are dehydrated, and this is what we do to get them into a powder application, they are not only more stable and they're more effective. and you can put them in a capsule form. They're free-flowing powders, and they work really nicely for that capsule and then for absorption. So here's what it kind of looks like. This chart on the left shows a liposome full of nutrients, and then through exosmosis, we dehydrate that liposome and it collapses on itself. So the fats collapse onto the nutrients, and it's all shrunken down, almost like a water beadlet. I don't know if you guys have seen the Orbeez or the little water beadlets that my kids have played with. You put them in water and they expand to 30 times their size. And they're really fun to play with. And then if you leave them out on the counter, they dry up again. And so they're a membrane, similar to a micelle or a liposome. And so again, we dehydrate them for better stability, veg cap application, and as a dried liposome, they're actually more bioavailable. There was a study done on vitamin B12 that demonstrated how powder liposomes are 6 times better absorbed than liquid liposomes and 15 times better absorbed than regular vitamin B12. So we know that the absorption advantages are there for liposomes, specifically powdered liposomes. Now, liposomes then, let's summarize it here and we'll get into it a little bit more and we'll talk about these products. They work as easy as 1, 2, 3. Number one, they pass through the stomach into the gut where they rehydrate and form back into a full 80% water-filled liposome. They then pass into the lumen of the small intestine. Our stomachs break things down, and then our intestines, with all the bacteria, that's where vitamins are produced. That's where the absorption sites take place. That's where we absorb our nutrients into our blood. We can also absorb toxins in our small intestine if we have leaky gut. So we have to make sure we have lots of healthy phosphatidylcholine that makes up that strong barrier and protein membranes that don't create that permeability. And then once the liposomes are in the blood, they travel throughout the body and they merge with our cells to deliver the payload of nutrients all around the body. So that's what that image shows, that illustration of the liposome full of the active ingredients. It connects with the human cell. Those phospholipid bilayers merge and they open, and the active nutrients pass right into the cell, and then the cell gets nourished. So it's a fantastic delivery system. We're testing it through human clinical studies here in the United States. We're doing 3 double-blind placebo-controlled studies at Texas Tech, at Texas A&M, and at UC Davis in Northern California. So these studies are now getting concluded, and the data is looking very positive for all of these vitamins and minerals that are being tested in their liposomal format. There have been dozens of studies done before this, but nobody's tested a multivitamin and compared it to a non-liposomal multivitamin or other types of multis. And so now we will be the first company to have this information and to publish it, and it'll be in the public forum. So it's time for the multivitamin disruption with the liposomal multivitamin line by Solaray. These are beautifully cased in cartons. Again, very sustainable. Everything is recyclable or made from recycled materials. So we're very aware of the environment. So let's get into these 4 formulas briefly. And before I do, just a really quick, why liposomal multivitamins? Well, it's the 4 benefits that I talked about earlier. Greater absorption, gentle digestion, odor neutrality. When those liposomes are encasing the vitamins, you don't smell the vitamins. They're kind of hiding. And so you don't have that off-put odor. And they're simple. You can take them without food. So if somebody is intermittent fasting or on a diet, or perhaps they don't have their gallbladder and they're worried about taking fatty things. These liposomes are so small that digestive enzymes are not needed to absorb them. They go right into the blood system without the need of breaking them down. So let's look at these carefully curated formulas. We started with 100% liposomal ingredients for enhanced absorption. We added all high potency formulas. So we looked at the vitamins and minerals that we need to be taking on a daily basis. We looked at the new recommended daily allowances for those, and we formulated them just right based on the need state. All of these are using coenzymated B vitamins, so methylfolate, methylcobalamin B12, benfotiamine B1, P5P B6. I like coenzymated B vitamins so they can bypass the liver and go right to their absorption site. These are very clean. They're 100% vegan. Even the vitamin D3 doesn't come from lanolin, it comes from algae. The vitamin A is not protected with gelatin beadlets. It's beta carotene that's completely vegan. These are gluten-free and soy-free. I mentioned earlier that the lecithins that are used to make the fats come from sunflower and not from soy. We added 72 trace minerals to every one of these formulas. We have a mineral deficiency in our country because of our soil degradation and our crop rotation. So it's important to be taking trace minerals every day. And not a lot of multivitamins have trace minerals. So this has 72 trace minerals in addition to the 20 vitamins and minerals with daily values to them. These have liposomal lutein. People know what lutein's for. Eye health, to prevent age-related macular degeneration, which is common now among our aging population. They don't get enough of this carotenoid, this lutein, from their diet. I put in coenzymated liposomal CoQ10. We don't eat enough organ meat or cow brains where CoQ10 is very abundant. And we need CoQ10. It's a master antioxidant and it gives our cells energy so we can function well. These are all lab verified with over 3 years of testing. They're authenticated. They're true liposomes. These are all patent pending and clinically validated with 3 major universities. So I know that's a mouthful. Let's now get into each formula briefly. I'm just going to give you the highlight. We're not going to talk about what all the vitamins and minerals do. You guys can go to Dr. Google for that if you need to, or go to Marlene's and read their wonderful magazine every month. They always have great information on nutrition. So this is a 2 veg cap dose in each formula. There's 30 liposomal nutrients in the universal formula. Do you folks remember before there were men and women's multivitamins, everything was universal. It was either regular or iron-free. Well, I'm proud as the formulator of this line to offer something for everyone here. Okay, this is our something for everyone, man, woman, however you identify yourself. Some women don't menstruate a lot. They may not need 18 milligrams of iron. Some men might need more iron because they exercise a lot and they lose a lot in their sweat or through their digestive process. So this universal formula is great for the whole family, let's say. It's got 9 milligrams of gentle liposomal iron, which is okay for everyone. It's got liposomal glycine, which is a wonderful amino acid needed to help us with mood support. It's got a milligram or 1,000 micrograms of methylcobalamin B12 for sustained energy. Now, I know that seems intimidating when you look at the RDA. It's like 46,000% of the RDA. But B12 is one of those things that we may not be getting enough if we're on a plant-based diet or depending on what we eat. So we need a good dose of B12 to give us sustained energy throughout the day. Lack of energy is the #1 complaint that we hear of in health food stores. And so we're filling your nutritional gaps and giving you some good sustained energy with liposomal B12 at 1,000 micrograms per dose on this one. The women's formula has 7 more ingredients than the universal. This has 37 ingredients. Women have more specific needs, so we wanted to give it a little more targeted here. So we have liposomal GABA, which is this neurotransmitter that a lot of women can be low in, and that helps with mood support. It's so important for controlling our thoughts and for helping us just feel at peace. GABA is one of the fundamental. I have a neuroscientist on our advisory board, and she's a big fan of GABA. Ashwagandha in a liposomal form is added for adrenal support. It's a fantastic adaptogen. I'm sure all of you have heard of ashwagandha by now, at lowering stress, at helping retain serotonin levels in the body, at helping us sleep better at night. So many wonderful blessings and benefits for ashwagandha. We've added a little more liposomal biotin, it's silica. I've added hyaluronic acid for hair, skin, and nail support. And this one has the full 18 milligrams of liposomal iron. And since we're Solaray and we love herbs, we had to put an herb base. So some liposomal ginger and aloe to help soothe digestion, to help us with some inflammation. Ginger is a wonderful anti-inflammatory. Studies at the University of Maryland about 5 years ago done on osteoarthritis of the knee with ginger, and incredible favorable outcomes. So we just love root anti-inflammatories like ginger. We can think of turmeric and many others that are important to be taking. The men's formula. I formulated this for me. I'm kind of the target audience here. 34 ingredients, 18 vitamins and minerals at 100% daily value or more. We targeted muscle recovery and support, prostate health with a little bit of pumpkin seed in its liposomal form. This one is iron-free. Now, if men want iron, they can go to the universal formula. Some men don't want iron, so we have this formula. And liposomal iodine. Now, we have this in the women's too, but I put a little bit more in the men's compared to what you'll see in most men's formulas, because men are low in iodine. My father is a family practitioner and he's still practicing, he's almost retired. And my younger brother is also a doctor. And they tell me that a lot of guys are coming in with fatigue and they get tested for testosterone and their testosterone seems okay, but they're still tired. And they do a thyroid check and their thyroid stimulating hormone, or their TSH, is high, which means you're low thyroid. Your body is trying to kick up testosterone or thyroid production with thyroid stimulating hormone, and you have low T2, T3. And a lot of it goes to thyroid function. And, you know, one of the most wonderful minerals for thyroid health is iodine. And the fact is that we're not consuming it in the salts like we used to. If you consume lovely, healthy Himalayan or gray sea salts from France, or pick your poison, or not your poison, but your favorite sea salt, it doesn't have iodine the way iodized salt does. And we're not eating, at least maybe you folks on the West Coast eat more of it, but in Utah, we don't eat as much seaweeds, sushi, so we don't get a lot of kelp or seaweed in general, so our iodine consumption is really low. So I wanted to put iodine in this formula to help support our thyroids a little bit for the guys. The women's 50 plus formula has 33 ingredients targeted for the needs of women 50 plus. I have added some cranactin, cranberry extract for urinary tract support. It was Solaray in the late 90s that developed the mechanism of action with Ocean Spray, the big cranberry supplier, at understanding how cranberries work at preventing urinary tract infections. And we have lovely cranactin here as a base to support those customers. Vitamin K2 has been studied over and over again now for bone health and heart health. It helps shuttle calcium into bone formation. And then we've added a little bit of iron. This is just 25% of the daily need. And I put it in the women's 50 plus because even after menstruation, there's a lot of women that come in that are low iron, that are borderline iron anemic, even some, because they're on blood thinners and they're losing their iron, or they're on some other medication. So I wanted to have some iron in this formula. We also added liposomal ginger and aloe in the women's 50 plus for digestion. Aloe in Europe is one of the biggest selling herbs. Europeans love aloe because it's so restorative for their digestion. It's good for your skin. It's good for so many different applications. So Solaray just made multivitamins better with liposomal multivitamins. These are formulated for enhanced absorption. We've seen studies with up to 15 times better absorption on B12, 9 times better absorption on vitamin C, and we'll learn and be able to share more once the studies are published that we're funding. These are all clinically tested with those 3 double-blind placebo-controlled studies done here in the United States. These are gentle. The pharmacodynamics on the studies show that there's no unpleasant odor, there's no burp up, there's no nausea, no stomach upset at all. These are clean formulas, they're all vegan, there's no soy used, there's no heat employed, no chemicals, they're non-GMO. Non-GMO sunflowers are used as the source of most of the fats. A little bit of RSPO palm was used, that's also non-GMO for the stability of them. These are very stable in powder form for better function and stability. And we're just happy to offer this in Solaray. So thank you for participating. This was about 30 minutes in. This is probably a little bit shorter than many of the presentations, but I wanted to be succinct and open it up for any questions. If those at Marlene's are entertaining questions, or any of you customers, I'd be happy to answer them.
Thank you so much, Max. I'm going to check the Facebook live stream here. Also, I've entered in the comments and chat box, and to just verbally mention it, we have 30% off the products mentioned at tonight's presentations at both store locations on the end caps in the supplements department. So we are just so grateful that Solaray has come out with this amazing absorbable multivitamin, and to learn more about it in this presentation. That is so interesting how y'all have the technology to create the liposomal first off, but then to be able to dehydrate it, and then for our bodies to our own bodies moisture to reabsorb it. It's fascinating.
Yeah, so we always tell people, that's great. I'm glad you said that, you know, always stay very hydrated. The amount of water that these dried liposomes are going to take in is maybe a teaspoon worth of water from your gut. So it's not going to dehydrate you. But the reminder here is drink your 64 ounces of water every day. We just can't get enough water. Yeah, we want to stay plump like liposomes, right? And they're so familiar to our cells that it's a vehicle to carry vitamins and nutrients where they need to be. Yeah.
Yay, that's so beautiful.
Thank you.
And Max, this is Kathy. I know from working on the article that it's not just about, you know, the liposome, it's getting the right size particle in the liposome, and that it's a really, not just anybody can do that process, because it is more complicated than just, you know, a regular pharmaceutical vitamin. Yes.
That's a great comment, Kathy. And I want to be clear, this is not nanoceuticals. These are not nanonutrients. There was a big concern in the past about tiny toxins. There was an article written about nanoceuticals and how we might absorb things we don't want to absorb. These are micronized. They're made small to fit into the liposomes. But, you know, our bodies need absorption of vitamins to function. Our cells need minerals. We need magnesium for 300 enzymatic reactions in the body. We need zinc to stop the spread of viruses in the body. We need vitamin D to help pick up our moods. It's actually more of a hormone than it is a vitamin. And when you're cooped up inside all day, or if it's raining, or, you know, we put sunblock on and we send our kids out, and we may not be absorbing the vitamin D that we need for our bones, for our mood. And so it's important for us to give the customer the best way to absorb their vitamins. And I know there's a lot of options out there. this is the latest technology. And I'm just grateful that we were able to do it in a cost-effective way, because the doctor channels have had liposomes. You can buy liposomal glutathione or liposomal CBD, like I said, at a natural integrative practitioner office. This is the first true liposomal multivitamin, and it's not going to the practitioner channel. It's going to the health food stores where everybody can buy it for a fair price. And so we're just excited to be at the forefront of this technology.
It is super exciting.
Great. Well, any questions or comments or for Solaray in general? I don't know if your guests or anyone on Facebook Live has anything they'd like to ask or recommend. Happy to answer any questions at all.
I'm looking here on Facebook Live. No questions there. Any questions here on the Zoom meeting, folks? I actually have a question. So the CBD line that y'all have, y'all had the like specific ones like the pain and then the sleep, but the regular CBD would do all of that anyways, but those other ones had like a little bit of other things in them.
Yeah, and that line, for now, we've closed it out. It's sitting right here on my shelf, at least some of them.
Oh,
This one here, yeah.
yeah.
And so CBD, I love cannabidiol, but it's not regulated by the FDA yet. And so we're going to put it on pause until we have national regulation of it that's not controlled by the states. It's become a tough business because every state regulates it differently and you have to pay all these fees and chase it. So we've actually put it on a little, we've put it back in our pantry. But yes, CBD is a wonderful endocannabinoid, basically. You know, we actually don't make it. It's a phytocannabinoid, I should call it. And it has all of those tricks from anxiety to stress and sleep support. And the other formulas had like turmeric for more, you know, pain support or relief, or we had things for sleep support like valerian in those formulas. So maybe someday it'll come back.
Definitely, but see, you already have the groundwork laid out, so when the time comes, it'll just be like wham bam,
We're
CBD,
in.
ma'am.
Yeah, we know the farms that are in Oregon that we love, that are organic, where we grow the CBD, the hemp, and it gets processed organically. And
maybe
hopefully
the
one day we'll be back.
formulas could be liposomal.
There you go, Kathy. Always
Ooh.
thinking 2 miles ahead of me, possibly because CBD works very well in a liposomal format. It was shown to have, let me see. In fact, in my presentation, I have it. Right here, hemp CBD was 5 times more absorbed than CBD non-liposomal,
Wow.
according to this study. So, yeah, it's pretty cool stuff.
So exciting. Yeah, and y'all have the some really good other formulas, like your probiotics, but I have fallen in love with the Sharp Mind Energy. That one got me through my finals.
Good. And it's a non-stimulant with this root called galangal that lasts for up to 5 hours. It's your little 5-hour energy without caffeine, and it's all herbal based. And we love the Sharp Mind, whether it's for focus or mood or stress or sleep or energy. You can stack them based on the need and get that get the whole vagus nerve back in order. It's a real problem in our country, especially post-COVID. People are just so stressed and we're depressed, and there's a lot of things happening that are worrisome right now. So they may need a little help from their herb friend. So.
Well, and I was wondering, Max, if some of those things might not be liposomal candidates as well.
Yeah, Kathy, that's a good point. We've seen when we were using liposomal ashwagandha in this formula, in the women's formula. So, ashwagandha is an anchor herb in 2 of those formulas, in the stress and in the sleep. And so potentially we'll see, how the studies look. We've been selling liposomal turmeric now for many years in Solaray. And I don't think people know that much about it, but it is much more bioavailable. We've had liposomal C in the market. It's done really well. And so
and
we'll keep innovating.
I'm glad to have you here, because I was talking to one of my customers and we were talking about how much niacinamide, actually it was John at Marlene's, how much niacinamide they sell. And we were talking about it for its cellular functions. And I thought, well, I wonder if that would be something that would be a good liposomal nutrient. So that was just something I was thinking about.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, in the formula, we actually do have liposomal, excuse me. Coming back. I'm just checking the source here. Yeah, it's niacin as liposomal niacinamide, 16 milligrams, which is the 100% daily value on that. And if it's more absorbed than normal liposome, some people wonder, oh, if I absorb too much, is it going to hurt me? Am I getting more than I should? And the answer is no. You're going to actually absorb the full amount that you think you should absorb in the first place, not 10% of it or 15% of it, but more like 90 to 100% of it. And that's the beauty of the cell gate liposomal technology that we've come out with. So super grateful for Marlene's. Any other questions?
Any more questions, folks?
Read Marlene's sound when it comes out. We're going to have a whole article in there on liposomal multivitamins. Kathy, when is that? Was that already published, or is that coming out next month?
It'll be in the print form in July, and Elizabeth posted in the chat as well. And they might have put it on Facebook already. I don't know.
Yes, we did.
Perfect. And wasn't Marlene's Retailer of the Year or something like that?
November, they got that award.
Yes.
Of all retailers in the country. And I can tell you folks, there's about 14,000 of them that are coast to coast nationwide. And that doesn't even include GNC, which isn't really a health food store. They're more like, sports and supplements for high school boys that want to get buff. But mom and pop health food stores, coast to coast, 14,000 of them. And Marlene's wins the best health food store award. That is tremendous. That just shows you that they're doing the right things. So congratulations, and thank you for your support of Solaray. And,
thank you so much, Max. It's thanks to all of our lovely customers and also wonderful companies and presenters that we have the privilege and honor to work with. So thank you.
You're very welcome.
Thank you, Max.
All right.
Well, thank you everyone for watching on Facebook Live. Stay tuned for more, and have a wonderful evening.
Bye-bye.